Welcome, everyone. Again, this is Cody, and I'm back after, I know, a quite long time, finally with another video. And just to give you guys a little idea of why I'm not posting so much, it's just because I'm trying to keep things very simple as far as the stuff that I've done a lot of research, and, you know, I still think that what I'm about to show you here is going to show that the research that I've been doing, I think is really going to come to pass, but I just don't know when. So the reality is that I've just been taking a break from posting a lot of content. I'll probably get back at more decoding at some point, but this stuff that I want to put out here is kind of an overview of all the things that have been happening, and I kind of want to just drop them into one video, and it's going to go along with all the other things that I had been talking about when I was making videos last month about the earthquake and the Seattle event. Now, again, if you guys haven't watched my videos about a possible earthquake in Seattle and how they've been hinting at it in so many different ways, you might want to go back and watch those. You guys can just go search them in my videos. And I appreciate all of you guys. And hopefully this video will I just want to show you this amazing stuff that just came out yesterday that points, and I made a post about this in the community section of my YouTube, but I really wanted to do a video on it because it's too big for me not to do a video on. And, you guys, a lot of crazy things have been happening in the world. We have all these shootings. We have this, actually Canada had an internet outage a couple days ago. You had the Georgia Guidestones going down. You had Cyber Polygon happening yesterday. You had the CERN thing that everyone was talking about. There's so much stuff happening, and things are really starting to pick up. And I thought that in July this would happen. And of course, this is what's really happening. July and August. Who knows what's going to happen? But again, things have really been picking up in intensity. Tomorrow is July 11th. I can't get through this video without mentioning that, because July 11th is a very interesting day in a lot of different ways. I don't think I'm going to really go deep into that here, but I just want you guys to, think about tomorrow. Again, just something to think about. Also, this month you have the 22nd of July, and you have the 31st and the 30th of July. Also, July 26th. These are the days that I'm still looking for more events to come. Now, are they going to be big earth-shattering events? Maybe, but all these events seem insignificant at the time, but they build up, right? So all these shootings that are happening, this Roe versus Wade, all these things are building up to a crescendo. I guess that would be the best word, a crescendo, to what I believe is going to be a much bigger event where the world just kind of really starts to dissolve into more chaos. And I think we just need to be prepared, spiritually, mentally, for what's coming. I'm trying to do the same. But anyway, without further ado, before this video gets too long, let's jump in and let me show you how yesterday there was an article released that just blew my mind, because it confirms that an earthquake in Seattle is something that they're really pushing. And I wanted to really hit on all this. So the first thing that you guys know, if you watch my prior videos, is that I was talking a lot about this article. Now, this article was called The Really Big One, and it was released in July, of course, and we're in July at this moment, and it was released on July 13th, 2015. Now, it was released on July 20th, but the article was written on July 13th. So, it's two dates, but both in July. And it was about an earthquake that will devastate the Pacific Northwest, where Seattle is, sinking Seattle into the sea, right? That's kind of the narrative, right? And I really want to hit on that, because I want to show all the clues that they've been giving for earthquake in Seattle. I didn't mean to click that. But anyway, this is the article. I'm not going to go through and read a lot of it. I've talked about it a lot, but this is the first clue. This was the first clue. Now let me show you guys the second clue that again points to an earthquake in Seattle, because you had this event that happened in January 8th, 2011, where Marshawn Lynch, the running back for the Seattle football team, he made a long run and he scored a touchdown, and the fans got so loud that it caused a small earthquake. Again, foreshadowing an earthquake. So you have the article written in 2015, you have the beast quake in 2011, and these things, they're all hinting. It's so obvious. I mean, it can only be such a coincidence that you would have, first of all, you'd have an event called the Beastquake in Seattle, and then you have an article coming out about an earthquake in Seattle. And let me show you the third event that just happened the other day. Now, this is what blew my mind, and I made a community post about this, but it says, this is an article on CNN and Fox News, and it says, simulation shows a tsunami wave as high as 42 feet could hit Seattle in minutes after an earthquake on the Seattle fault line. Well, why did they use, first of all, guys, why did they use the number 42? Well, the 42 is the 42nd state. Washington, where Seattle is the 42nd state. Also, remember the movie The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the answer to the questions of the universe is the number 42. And the 42 is just a huge number. And I'm going to show you how it ties in, but what I want you guys to understand is how big this is. I was just talking about this last month, how an earthquake could cause a tsunami, which would put Seattle underwater. And now you have an article a month later releasing about a simulation, and you know what happens when they do simulations? They usually end up coming true, right? So they do a simulation, and they say that a 42 feet earthquake will cause an earthquake will cause a 42-foot wave to sink Seattle under the sea. Essentially, what I was talking about last month. So again, this was confirmation to me that I'm definitely on the right track, and that my goal isn't to scare people, but to just let people know if you're in Seattle, you might want to be aware of this. If it doesn't happen, great. It doesn't happen. That's good. We don't have people getting under the ocean from an earthquake. But if it does happen, you might want to be prepared a little bit. Just like food shortages are happening, and you might want to stock up on food. You just might have to have a little preparation. So at any rate, guys, so you have these three clues. You have the article released in 2015 about an earthquake. You have the beast quake that happened in Seattle, which was a clear clue. You have this new article that just blew my mind about a 42-foot wave hitting Seattle after an earthquake. And then you have what just happened recently right before this article was released. Well, you had CERN turning on their Hadron Collider, which people were tying it to the show Stranger Things, because the show Stranger Things was released on July 1st, and the final 2 episodes are about an earthquake. Let me show you a picture from the last episode. I don't want to spoil a lot of the episode for you guys, but this is a picture from what happens at the end of the season 4. Okay, and again, season 4, number 4, and the whole thing about this is that in the show, the 4 is a huge number. And the 4 is obviously related to death, right? And so we just need to understand that, look what happens at the end of the show, guys. There's an earthquake, which really isn't an earthquake. It's actually a portal that gets opened up to the upside down, which is this other dimension, which is why this is interesting that they released these episodes with this narrative days before CERN turns on their Hadron Collider, which is trying to crack the universe as well. And then you have this show, essentially, there's a crack that ends up opening between dimensions, and then an earthquake is what they blame it on, right? So that's what's funny about this, guys, is the symbolism here. So you have a dimension being opened up, but what it actually causes is an earthquake. So for the people that aren't aware about the dimensions opening up, it just looks like an earthquake. But for the people that are aware that they opened a dimension between the upside down and the real world, it's not just an earthquake, right? It's something much bigger than that. It's a releasing of that reality into our reality. So, but anyways, guys, the whole point about me saying this is that an earthquake is in the last episode of the new season of Stranger Things. And then a few days later, they released this article about an earthquake hitting Seattle. And why is this tied together, guys? Well, I'm going to show you. First of all, because Stranger Things was filmed in Atlanta, Georgia, and the Georgia Guidestones are in near Atlanta. Okay, and we just had the Georgia Guidestones go down after 42 years. I just told you they said a 42-foot wave could hit Seattle. Washington, where Seattle is the 42nd state. And you had Stranger Things with an earthquake in it being filmed in Atlanta, Georgia. And the Guidestones just went down there. Okay, the Guidestones just went down there after 42 years. Again, the 42. And Georgia is where they filmed Stranger Things. And they filmed so many shows in Atlanta. And why is Atlanta tied to Seattle? Well, I'm going to give you two reasons. Because Atlanta sounds like Atlantis, the city that sinks under the sea, right? So you have the ancient city called Atlantis, and you have Atlanta. Atlantis is the ancient city that sinks under the sea. Like I'm saying, Seattle, part of Seattle could do so after an earthquake. So this is clear symbolism. Atlanta, Atlantis. All right. And not only that, guys, but I'm going to show you how the Gematria clearly, supports my reasoning here, how Atlanta is tied to Seattle. All right. So let's go over to the Gematria and just show you. Again, I'm keeping this very simple, guys. I don't want to add so much into my decodes anymore. I want to keep it so tight that people, just see clearly how tight the decode is. So in this case, I don't want to get cute. I just want to show you how tight and how crazy all these connections are. So again, I just talked to you about all these things, the Beastquake, the articles, all that. But remember, the name of the article that they released in 2015 was called The Really Big One, okay? And remember, it was about the Pacific Northwest and Seattle, an earthquake. And is it a coincidence, guys, that's the really big one, the name of the article, is a direct match to Seattle, Washington? Is that a coincidence? Considering that in the article itself, they're talking about an earthquake hitting that region of Seattle area, right? And the name of the article just happens to match Seattle, Washington with the 247. Now, I've showed this so many times, but I just really want to hit at this point. It's not a coincidence that the article is also the same value as the city that the article is talking about. Also, the very topic of the article itself, a great earthquake, is also the same value, 247. Remember, the number 247 is like 24/7, like 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, right? And it's interesting because you have July 24th coming up, so just watch for that. But this is just crazy, guys. So you have the article, you have the name of the city, you have the great earthquake. Not only that, but giant earthquake also equals 247, just like great earthquake. Now, here's how I'm going to show you how Gematria ties into Atlanta. Remember, the Guidestones just went down after 42 years. All right. Washington's the 42nd state. Stranger Things has an earthquake. It's filmed in Atlanta. All right. Atlanta, Georgia is the same value as Seattle, Washington. Again, I just told you, without Gematria, I told you how it's clear that Atlanta and Seattle are related. All right. But now it's even more clear because they have the same value. Seattle, Washington's 247. Atlanta, Georgia's 247. All right. And then this all goes back to the book of Revelation, which also equals 247. And the whole new season of Stranger Things is about the the four horsemen, because every time the clock rings, it gongs 4 times. And when the earthquake in the show happens, it divides the city into 4 parts. Okay. And the book of Revelation, again, has the 4 horsemen. And again, in order for in the show Stranger Things, I don't want to give too much, but in order for Vecna, the underworld person, to come into the real world, into the real reality, he has to sacrifice 4 people. Okay, so again, and in the last person that he sacrifices, let me show you this, guys. In the show, the last person he sacrifices to open up the portal to the real world is a girl. Her real name is Sadie Sink. And what did I just tell you about the sinking of Seattle? Sink. It's not a coincidence that the last person that he sacrifices. I'm sorry if I'm spoiling things. I'm not trying to spoil too much, but it's her name is Sink, and her middle name is Elizabeth, kind of like Queen Elizabeth, right? So again, guys, not a coincidence that her name is Sink, and I'm talking about her being the final sacrifice in order to cause a rift in between dimensions, which causes an earthquake. All right. And I haven't done a whole lot of looking into her, but I do know that, she's going to be a big part of this narrative. And there's so much here to understand, but I don't know if she has any ties to Seattle or not. But this actress, her name is Sink, and it's so clear that, remember the article, the really big one, talks about Seattle sinking into the sea. And remember, Seattle's hockey team is called the Seattle Kraken again. And then you have the Atlantis, which Atlantis sinks into the sea, Atlanta, where the show was filmed. It's just so clear, guys. And I hope I'm being very clear with you how crazy this is. And again, I'm just showing one number. There's other things to be said here in the Gematria, but I don't think I need to share any more than that. It's very simple. It's very clear that they're hinting at this. So it's good to be prepared for what's coming. Anyways, guys, this has been a long-winded video, a lot of me just talking, but I think I really wanted to hit on the points that I really wanted to hit on all these points, and I hope I'm not forgetting anything. And if any of you guys see anything or notice anything, please leave comments and let me know. And I will always appreciate your guys' comments and information. So anyways, guys, take care. I will hopefully see you very soon in a new video. Maybe I'll do more Gematria. This video is more just about overviewing everything that's happening. And anyways, guys, I hope you guys take care. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Blessings.